Hey everybody, this is John Desatel and Associates Real Estate here in Roxborough Park and doing one of my top so many videos. Thought I'd give you a quick video on top smells around the house that'll drive buyers away from your house and stop you from selling it. Number one are noxious plants near the front of your house. We have jasmine by the front door of our home in Florida, for example. But you want to be careful how close you're planting those plants to entryways or doorways where potential buyers might ingress or egress. Some people have plant allergies and they're especially very sensitive to floral scents. And so just be a little courteous. Might want to trim those back a little bit. Number two is a huge pet peeve of mine. I'm a former smoker. I stopped in 2001, but uh, cigarette smoke's the number one thing that I see potential buyers walk into a house, look at me and say, nope, we're not buying it. Even those most beautiful home in the world, if it smells like smoke, unless you're selling the home to a smoker, you're going to lose the sale every time. I have a lot of smokers that say, well, I don't smoke in the house. I smoke at the front door or out on the porch or at my little breakfast table. I can't tell you how many times I've walked in a house and I can still smell the smoke. You've got to move those tables out of eyesight at least 20, 30 feet away from the entryway of the home. People will smell it. I promise you, you're going to kill the sale. Number three, moving right along, I've had smokers and former smokers and agents hire ozone companies to come in and supposedly using ozone chemical get rid of the smoke. Doesn't work. And not only does it not work, it smells a lot of times worse than the smell of the cigarettes that they're trying to get rid of. We can't get rid of the ozone smell. It's expensive. It doesn't work. There are better ways to getting rid of cigarette smell in a house than having one of these ozone companies come in. Um, Number four, using air fresheners, the plugins by the my wife uses them, we use them, but where you use them, it's very important to understand. Again, going back to those fragrant plants, you might love cinnamon, but somebody else might think it smells icky or Hawaiian, same thing. Putting a air freshener in the back of a house somewhere, maybe where you have the kitty cat litter box is one thing, but bombarding a potential buyer right when they walk into a house with your idea of what a fragrant scent is, probably not a good thing. Probably a good way, to kill a sale. And sometimes people think you're actually covering something up. Ethnic cooking, my wife and family are Filipino. They like to cook. It smells delicious, in my opinion, but sometimes it's overpowering for some buyers, especially in condo townhomes. We've gone up the elevator, down the corridor. I've had a buyer say, "What is that smell?" And we walk up to the very unit that I'm going to show, and the buyer's like, no, it smells in this house. Even though they were just maybe cooking their favorite Turkish dish or Spanish dish or whatever, not bashing Turkish and Spanish dishes. It can be any dish around the world. Be careful though when you're going to sell your house if you're really into those amazing ethnic dishes or any dish that smells, guys, that's yummy food. But just keep in mind that somebody else might not like the smell of it, so that it's important to wipe those surfaces down really thoroughly. And if you're going to have a showing, try to schedule those showings quite a few hours after you've done your cooking or before to give time for the house to kind of breathe. Pet smells. We all know this, but you'd be surprised how many times I've walked into a home with a potential buyer. I have the listing or have the buyer and we lose a sale over pet smells. I just had this happen. Wet dog smell in a waterfront home we had up the coast in our Florida market a few months ago. The whole house really did smell like dog, and I mean bad dog. I've had dogs, I love dogs, but most of the time it's in their pet beds where they lay more than the pet themselves. Um, it's important if you're a seller, wash those pet beds, pet bedding, anywhere where those pets are going to sleep. Give Fido or Putty Kitty a bath regularly if you can. I know you don't think your pet smells just like you don't think your house smells like tobacco. I'm telling you as a real estate professional, I can come into a house and not only tell you if you have a pet, but a lot of times tell you what kind of pet. Birds, oh my God, same thing. You gotta watch their cages, this, that, and the other. Another thing is I've had people talk about old person smell, and I'm getting old, by the way, guys. It is not the person. It's very important to me to explain this to you. What happens in a lot of senior citizens is, you know what, if it's not broken, don't fix it. A lot of our senior citizens have had things for a long time, and it's because they've lived at home a long time. Maybe the same carpet for 20, 30 years. Carpet padding holds in smell. I can't stand carpet. I'm not a big carpet lover, but the padding underneath the carpet holds moisture. And if carpets have been down for decades, which a lot of times, and as we get older, they are absolute odor traps. Same thing with Aunt Millie's quilt, old comforters, old bedding, towels, old clothing that's been in closets for ages. They start to smell, and again, the homeowner doesn't smell it. So if you're thinking about selling, have a friend come into your house that's objective and tell you, does my home smell like tobacco? Does it smell like ethnic cookie? Sometimes just throwing out some of those old clothes. I know it's hard to part with them, or getting rid of, those carpets. If you're going to sell a 7-figure home, a lot of our homes in the park are, you really got to think about that stuff. Dog poop. Can you imagine these drop dead gorgeous views here in the park? And you walk your buyers out, and all of a sudden they turn, walk away, and worse yet, they step in poop. Get one of these pet poop pickup companies if you don't like picking up shit to come in and pick up the poop. I can tell you now, I can smell the dog poop. I can walk outside in your backyard and I can tell you where in the backyard it is. First impressions matter, and those sweeping mountain views matter for us in the park and in the village as well. Make sure your yard is not the last thing that people remember when they're walking out of a house. Also, petrochemicals, things in the garage that you don't think smell. A lot of times we'll walk in and we'll smell, bleaches or chemicals or some solvents. Or it's important to understand some people are very chemical sensitive as well. Get a little bit of a grip on that. Maybe you put some of those chemicals in an outside shed. Do you really need those? Take them carefully to a hazardous waste material facility where you can dispose of them safely. Perfumes in bedrooms. It's one thing to have a couple perfumes. I've been into bedrooms where there's 100 perfumes. The scent absolutely overwhelms you. And finally on my list today, people, is bad BO. I know what you're saying, huh? But some people emanate a little bit more than others, and that emanation sometimes wafts through the house. It's important to know. If you've got, if you're kind of one of those macho guys and you've been out hunting and you've got the blood from your fresh deer kill in your laundry basket, or you just came back from a 4-hour workout at the gym, you might have a little BO emanation going on that might chase buyers away. It's important for us, in summary, to understand odor does matter, smell does matter. We want buyers to be able to come through and visualize these drop dead gorgeous mountain homes for what they are and not be left with well, that house was nice, but man, I got a whiff of it and I'm just not having anything of it. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I'll continue to make them, and I hope you have a wonderful